Hello and welcome to the 3B podcast. Now featuring a new guest, me.
New guest, me.
Welcome, Gus, to this podcast.
Wait, we haven't started. I haven't. Okay, but you should.
Oh, yeah, it started?
It didn't click record. Hello and welcome to the 3B podcast.
Hi.
Today we have a new guest. This is
Yes.
me.
We have a new guest today. We
He's
were
our
hyping it up.
number one fan.
Number one fan, our only fan.
If you
Only
recall,
fans. Yeah.
if
But
you recall, a couple episodes ago, we said if you leave a comment, there's a very good chance that you become a guest on our show.
I don't think he even left a comment, or did he?
No, I did.
Okay.
I don't know if it was
And
that.
he
I
left
definitely-
a comment, and now he's a guest.
He met the
Simple as
criteria.
that.
Simple as that, right? So our guest for today, on episode 6 of the 3B podcast, is Gus. Hi, Gus. How you doing?
Hello. I'm doing well. How are you guys?
I'm doing all right.
Doing
It's
just
actually
fine.
getting pretty hot where I am right now in Oregon. I've switched from my long-sleeved and long pants PJs into short-sleeve ones now, just because it's hotter.
Wow. Yeah, it's been pretty good, the weather, until this past couple days. Now it's in the 40s.
Oh,
For
really?
you, yeah, for you Celsius people, that's single digits. That's about 7 degrees.
Yep.
How about for you, Gus? What's the weather like?
For me, it's pretty chill. We had a low of like 5 in the morning when I went out. But then as it went more to midday, it was more like a 16. I think right now it's a 16, so it's coming back down. But
Right.
It's good.
Right. So when you say those numbers, 6, 5, 16,
Yes.
they don't really mean anything to me.
So 16 degrees is about 60 Fahrenheit.
That means something to me.
Yeah, so it's pretty pleasant weather.
That is pretty
Yeah,
pleasant
it's
weather.
good. It's
I
good
expected
stuff.
hotter right now I feel like it's more warm, and I'm more north than you in Oregon here than in California, so.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
not sure.
The Bay Area is like the same temperature the whole year, though, right?
the Bay.
What, 60?
Well,
I don't think so.
no, it kind of depends. Like, it definitely gets chilly, but it's definitely not as drastic as like Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
Like-
Pittsburgh is like a teenager going through puberty with mood swings. I was trying to think of a good analogy. That was a really bad analogy.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, okay, so let's get back to what I was saying about the what was it, the weather, the units, because Gus, you come
Units.
from the land up north, right?
I do.
America Light.
America
Diet
Light,
America.
I come from the little hat.
right?
called Canada.
From Canada, and up there they use
Actually, a really big hat. It's like those like old 19th century hats with the flower,
Oh yeah, the Elizabethan.
the bonnet or whatever.
Oh yeah,
Hmm.
good stuff.
Yes. So you come from the hat, and in the hat they use Celsius. So do you do kind of a mental conversion whenever people just say stuff in Fahrenheit, or have you
No,
grown
I
to
just
be
look it up.
accustomed to like the Fahrenheit measures of temperature as well?
Right. So I agree. We mostly use Celsius here in our family. And anytime I hear Fahrenheit, I just pull out a phone and convert it.
Wait, really?
Yeah, pretty much.
Hey, same thing. Whenever I hear Celsius, just
Like I don't even know important numbers except for like 70 is around room temperature, right? Like 74-ish.
yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only baseline I know.
32 is the
Oh yeah,
freezing
32
point.
is
Wait, we
freezing.
should be quizzing him. Oh, okay. Those are like the
Oh,
only
and-
two. 32 is like the only important
Do you
number I
know
know.
boiling point of water?
No,
Wait, I don't even know boiling point.
100 C as it should be.
212 degrees.
Oh my God.
So when I hear Celsius, I usually do try and remember the formula. I like, so if I hear Celsius, I multiply roughly around 2 and then add like 30. And that
See,
gives
I never remember which order to do it in.
Yeah.
Okay,
You know?
well, Fahrenheit is bigger, so you...
No, that's not what I mean. Because in
Oh,
one direction you subtract first, then multiply, right? And in the other direction you multiply first, then add.
okay. And that's like 2 things to keep track of.
Right, but I mean you're not always converting between Fahrenheit and Celsius, so you mix them up, you know? But do you remember the order to do it
Yeah,
in?
because it's multiplication and addition, right? So if you're going from Celsius to Fahrenheit, you multiply first and then you add. And if you're going from Fahrenheit to Celsius, you minus first and then you divide.
Okay.
Pretty
Sounds
impressive.
very presumptuous, but
I'm sorry, I don't have that in my head at all times. I'm sorry.
I can't be the only one that... Okay, do you remember like how did you just ingrain remember 212 is the boiling point, or did you do that formula like you put in 100
No,
multiplied by the
I have that
number?
memorized. Wait, what? No, I know that.
Oh,
I
really?
learned the boiling point of water in Fahrenheit before Celsius.
Oh. Did you ever question, like when you first learned it, why it was just 212, those random numbers?
Um, did Celsius come before Fahrenheit?
Probably.
I don't think there's like a. I don't think
It's one of the
somebody like
common
one
ones.
day was like, okay, I'm going to create a new temperature system, and it's going to be you multiply by 1.8 and add 32. This is my new temperature system, guys. Go use it. I don't think that's how Fahrenheit came about. I think it's a bit presumptuous to say that the reason that the boiling point of water in Fahrenheit is 212 is because
Oh,
you
no, no.
multiplied.
Well, what I was trying to say was just when you first learned the number, did you like question why it was like this number instead of a nice round number?
Nah, I was a pretty dumb kid. I never really questioned what I learned. I just kind of accepted it.
So he proposed it in 1720. Oh, Fahrenheit did come before.
Yeah, 17. Yeah, Fahrenheit was first. It's
And
crazy.
Yeah,
why
no, that
did he
makes sense.
make why did he make it so that it's 32 and
But I don't think
212?
it was based around water.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then what does 0 degree Fahrenheit even represent?
I don't know. I think I'm not really sure what the story is, but
He
I'm
just
pretty
went outside
sure
and it was chilly.
he
It was
just
like
he
0.
he went outside and it's like this is the coldest it's been in a while.
0.
Now it's 0 degrees.
And this is the hottest it's been in a while. Now this is 100, and then we divide by 100
Yeah.
in between the measures. That's one way to do it. I guess you don't have something to dictate how you do it if you're the first one inventing it, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can just do whatever you want.
I wonder how the Romans did it.
How did the Romans do it?
I don't know. I said I wonder how they do it.
Oh, maybe they do because there's the stuff with mercury, right? I'm not...
Yeah.
I think
That's how thermometers work.
Yes. They probably did something like that. Though, I don't know what scale they used. Or maybe they just didn't care about the temperature.
Mm.
Imagine that.
No, I'm sure they did.
Yeah, I don't
How
know.
would they know, you know? Whether to bring an umbrella. That's what I'm saying.
I don't think they were shielding themselves from the sun with umbrellas. Did they even have umbrellas back then?
No, they had like togas. They could just like a poncho.
Yeah,
You know?
they could just throw it over their heads. Yeah.
Anyway, we have a Gus. I mean, a guest. A Gus.
Yeah. Were you gonna say something after that?
Yes. We should talk about Canada now.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah. Wait, I want to also ask, so besides Fahrenheit, right, do you do conversions with pounds as well? Or
Mhm.
with length
Right,
between
yeah.
meters, feet? Is it
Yeah,
still just
so
easier to think about in terms of pounds? I mean, in kilograms or meters instead of feet or
no,
yards?
honestly, I just kind of keep using pounds and uh, well, I mean, I don't even know what a yard is. It's like 3 feet or something.
Yes.
Um, but so I use feet, I use miles, and inches a little bit, though I kind of hate them. Um, but I do use pounds for most of for weight stuff. Yeah. Really, the only one that's mega annoying is just the Fahrenheit one. But all the others are pretty manageable. Like,
Yeah, Canadians don't use all metric, right? There's some things that are done with the other system,
um, I don't know about that.
right? Like I thought they used like miles or something. I know British people use miles.
No, we had cars with kilometers per hour instead of miles per hour.
Hmm. Yeah, where'd you get that info from? I think it makes sense since they're so close that we must have at least. It's like the what was it? Diffusion, our system of measurement.
No, I mean like this is a holdover from the British imperial system. Right? This is not our system.
Yeah, I
That's,
know. Right, but the British don't do like completely. Do they follow everything's like how we do it?
no, but they
So
they use kilograms and they have like
so
stone also. It's a bit different.
yeah, wait. I actually recently saw that someone was talking about stone. That's like something with weight, but I forgot how much.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Um,
British people are weird. They do British
oh,
things.
it's 14 pounds. Why is it 14? Doesn't make sense. That's okay. All right. So, right, we were going back with Canada.
Hmm.
We should talk about Canadian stuff because I don't know. I've
Yeah.
never lived in Canada. I've only visited Canada one time, and it didn't really count because it was Victoria Island. Does that count as Canada?
Yeah,
That
Do you know
is
where
in
that is?
Canada.
that is in Canada. That is there.
I feel like
It's not
it's
very
yeah.
touristy compared to some other places, but it's there.
hmm It's like very much on the west side of Canada. Where
Yeah.
where in Canada were you?
And by Victoria Island, you mean Vancouver Island, right? Victoria is a city on there.
Oh, I actually didn't know that, but okay. Isn't Vancouver a city too, BC?
Yes.
Hmm.
Well, you see, there is a Victoria Island. It's just nowhere near the city of Victoria.
Is Victoria Island not on like the west coast of Canada?
No.
Okay. Then I guess it's Vancouver Island with
Yeah,
Victoria
Victoria
on it.
Island is north.
Ah, I see. I get my stuff mixed up. So which part of Canada were you from?
Oh yeah, so I was from Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
In
Toronto.
Were you
Ontario.
like from the city or I'm guessing the suburbs?
Oh yeah, it's from the suburbs, pretty close, like an hour away from Toronto.
Pretty close, an hour away. Does that count as
Yeah, I
close?
mean, that's fine. I think that's close.
Yeah,
In
I guess.
Canada, this is pretty close, I guess.
That's true.
um,
Canada is even like more vast in
it's a
terms of land area than America, so you could say that. Did you visit Toronto often,
Is
the
that true?
city?
we visited Toronto a bunch, yeah. I guess when I lived there, I was a lot younger, so I didn't have a lot to do in Toronto. We did like some of the touristy things, like visit the CN Tower, visit the aquarium, which is new actually, or it was new back when I was there.
Back then.
Yeah, and there's some other sightseeing things. But we didn't do too much.
So you never
Mostly
really
countryside.
had business to do in Toronto?
No,
If you ever
yeah, no,
visited the city, it was mainly for sightseeing.
yeah, it was like it was just visiting the city. Yeah.
How old were you when you left?
So I left in between 6th and 7th grade. Yeah, so that was 2014. So I was about 14, 13. Um, yeah, so I was still a wee lad.
Did you so how did that feel having to leave in the middle of middle school,
Middle school.
right?
Yeah, so we don't have middle school in Canada. We just have elementary school that goes up to 8th grade, and then you go to high school, 9th through 12th.
Oh,
Actually,
It's crazy how there's every single country does it different. You know?
yeah,
Every
actually,
single country does it different.
yeah, and some provinces in Canada do it even more different. So Quebec, for example, is kind of weird in that the high school is 4 years, but then after the high school, you actually go to like pretty much everyone goes to a community college for 2 years, and then from that community college, then you transfer to a 4 year. So
they have extra education.
extra, yeah, and it's just for that province.
Yeah,
so
but
like the
Quebec is,
community colleges they go
backwards.
to are in Quebec as well.
There are some, yeah, there are a few, but like I had a friend who was a year older than me, who is a year older than me, and therefore would be a year ahead of me. But then he stayed. He went to that college that pretty much everyone goes to, and now I'm a year ahead of him because I'm now in university, in a 4 year university,
And he's just starting out.
and
now.
he's just starting now. Yeah, so it's kind of
Mm.
weird. But yeah, every place is different.
Would you like to do? Would you want to do that, considering the possible upsides of, I don't know.
Oh, of like, wait, you mean of the community college
Yeah,
or of
staying in
elementary
community
school?
college for another 2 years outside
Oh
of high
no, I
school.
would not like to do that. Not at all.
I wonder what
Um,
they were thinking. Oh,
yeah,
like
so
what did he think about doing that?
I don't actually know. I haven't spoken to him in a while. But the basic premise is that those 2 years are like the gen eds that you would take in university, and then once you get to university, everything is just specialized courses for 4 years.
Wait, but what if
Uh,
they
Very
go to
European
a
way of doing it.
what if they go to a university and then they still have to take the general education
Yeah,
course?
I mean, I think they can take some of those courses. They count like similar to AP courses where pass some of that credit over for your gen eds, but I guess that is also dependent on whatever university you end up going to.
Okay.
And I really don't know too much about Canadian universities and how they operate.
Did you ever think of applying to Canadian universities when
Oh
you were
yeah.
looking at your college search?
Oh yeah. The biggest one was probably U Waterloo. They're really
Yeah,
big
that's a
in
good CS school.
CS. Yeah.
Mhm.
And U of T, University of Toronto, is also pretty good. But the main reason I did not end up applying was actually because if I were to move over there, that would be for an extended period of time. Then I would lose my green card. So it's kind of
Oh, really?
yeah. I'm
Wait,
not a
how
Canadian.
long would it take to lose your green card?
I think you have to like have a permanent address and live at that permanent address in another country for like half a year or something. I don't know the
Wow,
exacts,
that's not a
but
lot of time at all.
it's not a lot of time. Yeah. Like I definitely after one semester would have lost it.
Uh-huh.
Does that still apply if you're doing something like semester abroad? Do you know? You study.
No, because that's not your permanent address. Like it's your, I
I
guess,
see.
temporary address for wherever you're studying abroad. But the study abroad assumes that you're going to come back. Versus if you go to a university and like you live there for 4 years, then there's not really any requirement that you come back. So they just take it away.
That makes sense. Okay. So
And green cards are hard to come by.
So you plan on staying in the US then?
Oh yeah, that's a big question. I don't know. US is pretty nice for the most part.
Like in more than Canada?
I don't know. I haven't. So really, I haven't visited Canada very much after leaving the first time. And like they're different, of course. Canada has some nice things, and I remember them fondly. Probably also because I was like younger, and I just like memories. Um, but US has a lot of good stuff too that Canada doesn't have. So I don't really know. I don't know what the future will hold.
do you still have
Haven't went that
family
far.
in Canada that, like, if you don't go back often, I'm guessing it's because you don't have family there, or do you just have family and you don't visit as often?
Oh yeah, so we actually do have family there, but we just don't visit very often. It's a big trip, especially with like so this year, of course, with COVID, no one's gonna even get through the border.
Yeah.
But even before that, it was like a big trip. We'd want to do like at least 2 weeks. 1 week would be cutting it pretty short. And it's like so we would have to kind of get a hotel since we wouldn't have a house there. We could stay with family, but all of our family there is small. Like they're all my aunts and uncles who don't have like
Do they not have children?
no, none of them have children. And only one of them is married out of the 2 that are there right now. But they also only have apartments, so they don't have like a place that we could stay comfortably for like an extended period of time. But we've done things before where we can like stay in a hotel for a little while and then just like visit them and visit other landmarks that we remember.
How many times have you visited?
How many times I visited back? I can at least remember twice, maybe 3 times, but I don't think I've done more than 4 times.
I don't think that's that bad.
Yeah, it's not
That's
that
fair.
bad, but it's like I don't
It's
really
almost once a
remember
year.
a lot. Yeah. One trip, for example, was actually an iconic tour. We went up to what's the place called? North New York.
North New
specifically
York. Isn't that
to-
America?
Yeah, so this was in the college.
Niagara?
Well, we went to Niagara, but we were at the end of our college search, like the visits, right?
Oh, like Ithaca? Isn't that
yeah, we
where
went to
Cornell
Ithaca.
is?
Yeah, we went there. And then from there, it was a pretty quick drive just to get to Toronto, and we could get in. So we did a little trip there, but that was only for a few days because we didn't even have plane tickets. It was all just on the car. It's like a road trip.
Wait, is that super easy to just drive into Canada because you have like your Canadian passports?
Yeah, for us, it is very easy. We just have to go to the border. We just show them our Canadian passports, and bam, we're in.
Easy.
Um,
Light work.
Yeah.
Do you celebrate Canadian Thanksgiving?
Yes, I did that.
Do you celebrate American Thanksgiving?
Yes.
That's the
So
important
you get
question.
twice the Thanksgiving.
I do. It's great. I mean, I don't get any days off for Canadian Thanksgiving, but we do
Right.
have turkey. And then American Thanksgiving, we get more turkey, and it's pretty great. And days off usually.
Wait, what
So-
is? I actually don't know. What is the significance behind Canadian Thanksgiving? What's the history behind that?
Oh, I actually don't really know.
Oh, celebrating
same
something
as-
that you don't know. Okay, I don't. I don't know anything about any of the holidays that I celebrate. But you eat turkey as well.
Yeah, we eat turkey.
Okay.
It's really like a tradition thing.
I guess that carried over for both kinds of Thanksgivings.
I had a Canadian professor that she would schedule the exams in the fall semester.
Mhm.
Or I guess we had one midterm, and she would schedule it around Canadian Thanksgiving, so that she wouldn't have to be present. The TAs would administer the test, and she'd fly back to Canada.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's as much as of a deal as Thanksgiving is in America, where people often we have like a whole extended break in the fall.
Yeah, I mean, we do get that in Canada, but
Yeah.
So it is relatively large. I think, if I remember correctly, we get a week off in elementary school.
Oh man, a whole week?
Yeah, we got a week off too when I was in high school and middle school.
I don't think I ever got a week off. I think it was just like college for me, where it was like 3 days at most, and we still
Right.
had a Monday, Tuesday school. We're not as patriotic. We don't care about Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
We don't assign enough days to it. So sad. Okay. Wait, so if you don't have middle school, then what? And elementary school is from the beginning, like first grade to 8th grade.
Yep.
Is it kind of a system where you stay with the same class where?
Yeah. I mean, so I actually haven't really spoken back to my old elementary friends too much, but I'm pretty sure that's just how it works. So you stay with that one teacher and like the 30 kids in your class, and that one room. right? You don't switch rooms.
Wait,
like
so
you
it's
would
the same teacher as well in the same room?
Yeah.
For
No
8
way. You have
years.
one
8
teacher
years.
for 8 years?
No. It's not the same teacher. I mean the same teacher as in every year you get a new teacher.
Oh, okay. That
Seventh
makes
grade
sense.
teacher, you get an 8th grade teacher.
Ah, okay.
Okay, so it's like elementary school. Okay.
Yeah, it's just elementary school extended.
Yeah. I went to a private elementary school. It's called Montessori. And we had, for 1st to 3rd grade, we had the same teacher. And then 4th to 5th grade, we had the same teacher. So I had only like 2 teachers from 1st to 5th grade instead of rotating between people. And we had assistant teachers as well. Was that a thing?
Assistant teachers.
Yeah,
TAs.
basically like, well, they weren't TAs because they were actual like adults, but
You can have an adult TA.
I think they were also paid, like they were actually.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah. I'm trying to defend their positions, but I think
I also went to
they did a
Montessori
lot.
school.
When? Which
kindergarten
grades?
and 1st grade.
Okay. How'd you like it? Do you
That was an
remember
interesting
anything?
experience. Yeah, I remember. I remember the teacher's name. We had 2 teachers actually. They co-taught,
Right.
and everything was sort of. It was really different than regular school, because each student like got different assignments, sort of.
Yeah.
And so it was very like personalized. And I remember it was like I was given some like really easy stuff. I would tell my parents, I was like, "Wow, this is so easy," and they got mad. My parents got mad. They went up to the teacher. They're like, "Why are you giving them easy stuff?"
Is that why they pulled you out and made you go to a regular?
No. We moved.
Oh. Okay.
And so then I was taught long division. Hoo-hoo.
Wait, was this in Texas too? Like before you moved?
Yeah.
Okay.
I always lived in pretty much the same area. We just kind of
Okay.
moved 15 minutes away.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And that's but how it got started, my education.
Do you wish you stayed in Montessori? Like up to 5th grade?
No. I don't even think it went up to 5th grade. I think it went up to 3rd grade. Yeah. Because I was like the biggest class. It was weird. That was like the big boy room, I remember. The the kindergarten through 3rd grade room. Because I was there since like preschool. I was there since I was 3 years old or something. And I remember I kept moving up rooms, you know, and then I felt like the king. One time in the big boy room.
No, I felt the same because we were like an extended version if we went all the way up to 5th grade, right? And we had the option for that last room. You could stay until 6th grade. So some kids would stay until 6th grade and then they'd go to middle school after that and they'd enter middle school as a 7th grader. I didn't want to do that because I feel like it's harder. I think back then I thought it was harder to make friends if you're not entering the school at the same time as everybody else.
I think that's true.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it was okay. I don't mind skipping a year because like the experience was very interesting and I did like it, but also yeah, I don't mind just going to regular school also. It's like not the biggest difference. It's not a big loss, the change for me when I transition between the two.
We are really glad you took the jump to become a resident of this great country.
Yeah, wait. So why did your parents decide that you had to move from Canada to the United States?
Yeah, that was actually because we had found better job prospects here. So my parents, who were both computer scientists, were working at IBM at the time, and they've been working there for a while. But they don't do a lot of new cool things at IBM very much. It's kind of an old company, so they got a good opportunity to get recruited by some of the big Bay Area companies, and then it just kind of moved on from there.
Both of them got opportunities, or is it with the same
First, my
company?
dad.
Okay.
It's not the same company. First, my dad went, and then like he tried it out. Like he traveled over, made sure everything looked okay, and then he was like, "Okay, I guess we're moving now." And then we're just like, "Okay." So we went, and then my mom also got another a job there too, but not at the same company, at a different place.
So
But
how
still
did how did they present the moving opportunity? Because you weren't a little kid by then, like 6th grade, 7th. Was it 6th
Yeah,
grade? I don't think.
it was like end of 6th grade. 6th grade summer is actually when I learned about it.
And how did they like tell you that, the news?
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember it too well, but they did like kind of slowly, I guess. We were like, um, I don't really remember it too well, but it was like talking about how it's always good to like try new things and all that kind of stuff, I think. And I wasn't actually too opposed to FMIT because I kind of knew that they had my best interests in mind. Um, and if we were moving, it would be for a pretty good reason. So I remember being bummed that I would not see my current friends very much. But this was also in the era where I like just got a phone or something, or like an iPod, so I was able to like call them and stuff.
Oh,
So it was
okay. I thought you were gonna say I just got an iPod, so I didn't need friends anymore. Like, I just needed my iPod.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was what was gonna happen.
No, that was kind of like the transition where I was doing more digital stuff and like
Okay.
more tech stuff. And then I was actually also excited because I had heard about these big Bay Area companies. Like I see them every day, like in the things I use, and I wanted to like see them. And I thought, oh, it'd be really cool if you worked for that company, Dad. And I was like, dang. So
Wow.
I knew it'd be good. And then I'm pretty happy that we did it in the end. It's been a wild ride, but it was pretty fun.
Yeah, how was the adjustment at first?
At first, it was like I guess a normal movement adjustment. I don't really remember it too well, but it was not that bad. I remember I picked up friends pretty quickly, but my really good friends who I picked up the same year, I actually picked those guys later. So the first friends I met, I like met them just because like in middle school you just get sat down like in a like close to somebody and then you just become friends with whoever's next door or next like in the next seat. Um, but then I had actually found some other friends, and those friends have been with me up to today. We're actually still going pretty well. Those are my best pals from the Bay.
Nice.
We're all over the states at this point, but we all reconvene and play video games all the time. It's pretty great.
That's such a wholesome story. I like
Tearing
how
up.
it didn't take that long to get over it as well. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was interesting. I did not like I missed Canada, of course, but I was also like excited with all the new stuff that was happening because things were pretty drastically different than what I was used to, like whole middle school deal instead of like and having to like move across classes. I thought like was crazy, and the school we went to in the Bay was way larger than the school I went to in Canada. Just like building wise, like it was a school with multiple buildings, and that was kind of unheard of.
Wow.
For middle school, huh?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
For middle school? Wait, was
They had to
this
go
also?
outside to change classes?
Yeah, you had to walk outside. There was like an English building. There was like a math and sciences building. There was a
What?
PE building.
How
There
many
was the arts
students?
and languages. Think 1,000.
1,000
Yeah, for
students,
middle
and you have
school.
different buildings.
Yeah, 1,000 students in different buildings. They weren't like the largest buildings, but they were. They had they had reasonably sized course classes. Like every class was like 30 students ish.
And how big was your old school? Like just for comparison.
So I don't remember the higher grades because we don't really talk to the upper grades. They're like the big boys, right?
Right.
But my class size was about, I think, 100. And then there were the 8 class sizes, right, from 1 to 8. So it was actually pretty similar. It was just one big building instead of several slightly smaller buildings.
Wait, when you say the class size is 100 or so people, does that mean you have like 100 or so people in the same classroom?
Oh, no. You get multiple, there are multiple like 7th grade teachers.
Oh,
6th grade
okay.
teachers.
So how was...
Did you have recess?
Yeah.
What kind of question is that?
Sorry, no. I mean, in like 7th grade, I didn't have recess.
Oh, in 7th grade? No. In middle school, we did not have recess. We just had lunch.
No. I mean, like in your Canadian school.
Elementary school, yeah, totally we had recess.
That's crazy.
Oh, yeah,
That's
that's true.
Sorry,
forgot
I
about
interrupted
that.
you, Patrick.
No, that's true. Because I didn't actually think about that. Wait, actually, I had recess in middle school too.
I did not.
I did not starting high school when we only had lunchtime, but in middle school the recess was combined with lunchtime, so it was like a block of 30 to 40 minutes where you could have lunch. So you could sit there and have lunch for the whole time, or you could finish lunch early and go out.
Yeah.
So it was kind of packaged together as one. But that's actually a good point. So wait, you just had like lunchtime then, both of
Yep,
you.
just lunch.
Yeah, same for my middle school.
Did you just sit in the cafeteria for 30 minutes?
I don't even think it was 30 minutes.
Really? Well,
It's tough.
ours was definitely 30. It might have actually been longer. But sometimes what we would actually do is go to one of our favorite teachers' classrooms, eat lunch in that classroom, and just like watch TV with the teacher. It was great.
Yeah, in middle school, like some kids, you would go to the library, and because some of the game websites, there were a few unblocked websites on the computer, so people would go there just to play like video games, go online to like cool math games, play balloons.
Sounds like
different
a
kinds
good
of
time.
games. Yeah,
Good stuff.
that's good.
Yeah, but our recesses in elementary school were kind of wild. It was way different than what we had here. So, I guess that's a good way to put this. I've been to the principal's office several times in elementary school, where I've never been in middle school. Like it was much more strict, but in elementary school, things were like crazy. Like high school fights and stuff. There were those, but like across grades, and it was awesome.
Wait, like multiple
There
kids?
were like 8th graders fighting like
First graders?
3rd graders.
No, not first graders. I kind of say it was like the adjacent grades. Because recesses weren't the same time for everyone. It was like different grades get put out at different times, but then adjacent grades would get put together. But for example, one thing that there's a lot of in Canada is snow, right? So in our recesses, which is this big like outdoor lot in the back of the school, there would be a bunch of snow, but there's like definitely a place where there's the best snow, the best snow being the type that's very sticky and you can put together into like a snowball and therefore chuck it rather than powder snow. And so I remember we had it's like wars between grades where we would designate people to build like forts out of the snow to protect the rest of the good snow and like ice and stuff. And then other people like building the snowballs, like artillery. And then we had people like going behind enemy lines, stealing their snow. And then there were like the occasional brawls between the two whenever something took place. But it was great. It was like
kind of brawls.
Like actual brawls. Like I remember running at this big kid and like what do you call it when you like jump and then you kick with both of your legs and then you just
God damn.
like charging at someone. It was wild, I'm telling you.
You got sent to the principal's office?
Oh yeah, but not for that one, for other ones.
What?
Juvenile delinquent Goose. What?
What is
like,
happening?
everyone did it. So
What's
great.
happening in Canada?
So crazy.
We had scenarios like that all the time. So those were I remember those super fondly. They were great. Usually no one got, like, really hurt. Yeah, like people got organized and stuff. It was like crazy. Like since the class sizes weren't very large, kind of everyone knew each other. So everyone kind of knew like, okay, this is the 7th grade territory, so you don't go there. Or not 7th grade, since I ended at 6th grade, but like that would be like the 4th grade territory. You don't go there if you're a 3rd grader or if you're a 5th grader, because they'll F you up. Like they had people like on guards, and same for like the other classes, and they were great.
Wait, it sounds like a crazy time.
It was so good. That actually wasn't. Yeah, no, that was probably the craziest thing. There were other less crazy and more peaceful things that were also very unique, and I don't know if other schools did them or did this, but I don't know if you guys used pencil lead as currency in your schools.
No.
Have you never used that?
I feel like that did happen, like
Yeah.
for like mechanical pencils, that kind of stuff. Or
Oh, actually, not mechanical pencils. So they weren't useful at all. So like regular wooden pencil, you would sharpen, and then you would just break the lead off, and then that lead is like the currency.
What?
So people would just stack up all of these lead things, and like for example, if you wanted a favor, like, hey, can I borrow your eraser? That's like, yeah, sure, three pieces, and then the transaction would occur, and
Yo,
it was no intrinsic value, not a commodity currency.
No, it doesn't work.
Not banked. Like, wait, it's not even backed by a central bank. It's not a
thing that one year did, and then everyone else after that year just ended up doing.
They just wanted to be like, it's a trend, and then everybody wants to get into it.
Yeah, pretty much. It's so weird. So actually, like none of that happened in middle school. It was kind of boring actually in middle school.
I mean, especially coming from places where you can flying kick people. Okay, wait. So you said you got sent to the principal's office multiple times. Why did you get sent there? If it wasn't for flying kicks.
Lots of I mean, not all of them were like very major.
Okay. You have any you can share?
Let me think. I think there was one where this kid came up to me and like tried to fight me, and then I had to, like, when he came to kick me, I grabbed his foot before before it touched me. So I was holding his foot, and then he was like balancing on, like, little kids, they just play fighting, right? And then I like twisted his foot so that he was I had all the leverage on his balance, so he had to like turn around, and then I pushed him into a wall, so he was against the wall, and then he just left me alone after that. It was great. I think that one I got sent to.
This is a sign for you.
This guy's a badass. Holy shit! What the hell?
Tamed you.
What happened, Gus? Wait, we want to see more of this Gus. What the fuck?
No, that Gus is mostly retired.
Mostly. So there's a chance.
There's a chance. Little deep down, if there's a zombie apocalypse, I know who to go to.
Yo.
There's crazy stuff like that. Yeah, it was great. When you could like run around and just get hurt, but then not actually feel anything, and you just kept going. Just had infinite adrenaline. That was pretty much childhood.
Wait, great. So if the snow fighting stuff, that's when there's actually snow, or is there snow year round?
No, there's not snow year round.
Okay.
It's like in the winter time.
So what did you do on the other seasons then?
Oh, the other seasons were like just normie things, like playing soccer in the field.
Sit down, they have tea,
There's a lot of Pokemon that went around. There were some cases of Pokemon theft, and that was a big like drama that happened. Like people stealing cards when other people were playing. Yeah, that was
like when they were playing with their cards, and then they just take them.
People would like, how I've never played Pokemon, people would sit around in like a circle on the
Yeah.
floor, and then they would like put the cards down
Yeah.
and they would play. I don't know what the rules are, but then if you like lose a card, like it gets defeated or something, I think they put it like behind them or something.
Oh.
And so that was a major cause of other kids going around stealing those cards
What?
and using them. And then the cycle just kind of continued, and everyone just kind of had
What the hell is your
yeah.
school just
Everyone
a
else's
school for
cards?
mischief children?
Yeah, I know,
People
right?
hitting each other, brawling, pushing people
Oh,
into
yeah.
walls,
Oh, yeah.
stealing
That's
Pokemon
so
calls.
good. It was great. There were no major injuries that I can think of. Anything. It was actually a Catholic school. Yeah, it was a Catholic private school. It was,
Okay, wait. So were public schools kind of like this also then, do you know?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never been. Yeah.
Oh,
was
did you go to a private school also? And
Yeah, we went to a private school, private Catholic school, because the neighborhood that we lived in was like 99% Italian, so there was a
Oh,
bunch
wow.
of Christianity there. It was like churches on every
A
corner.
lot of Christianity.
Yeah.
Did you pick up any Italian?
No, I didn't. Not really, but I did pick up their taste for food. I love Italian food. It's so good.
Are there good Italian places where you live?
Where I used to live, there were a lot of good Italian. So in Canada.
Oh, sorry. Your neighborhood in Canada was 99% Italian.
Yeah, neighborhood in Canada, not here.
Good.
So all of my friends in Canada were Italian, and then there were like great bakeries and food places like pasta, pizza.
That sounds
Oh,
like I can imagine it. Yeah.
It's a little Italy over there. It's great. Here there's I have not seen that many, and there's not a lot of great Italian places around here.
Italy's a long
Wait,
way
you've
away.
really set the scene, huh? I'm just imagining. You know, you have this like fort. Everyone around you is like Italian. You know.
Oh, yeah.
you get like the aroma of like Italian food in the air.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Is this something you're wistful for, Elan? Just
I
imagine
don't know.
that.
It sounds like I have nostalgia for something I've never known. You know.
Oh yeah.
So
when I talk to this about is just so like amazed. Like apparently this never happens in American schools.
what, the
Yeah,
Italy
no.
stuff or the fighting stuff?
The war, like the intergrade wars. And
Like,
stuff.
I'm sure that
The
stuff
snow stuff
happens.
doesn't happen in
The snow stuff, well, it won't happen in Texas for sure.
stuff.
And we didn't get snow enough. Okay, when we had snow, school is canceled because it would ice over the roads. And the elementary school that I was at, it was higher up in the mountains, so like it could actually be kind of treacherous driving up there for all the
Mount
kids.
Athos.
So whenever there was snow, or heavy snow, we still had school when there was like light snow, but when there was heavy snow, there wouldn't be school. So we didn't have the opportunity of that. What I was gonna say with grade level fighting, like I'm sure at a lot of schools that kind of stuff happens, and not like both play fighting and actual fighting where people are like heated at each other and fighting. Yeah. Again, like different kinds of schools, different kinds of demographics definitely can occur. So I don't think it's just like isolated with Canadian schools, but that is a very unique experience. There was another question I wanted to ask, which was, throughout this time in elementary school, did you bring your own lunch, or did your school have some kind of like cafeteria where you could buy lunch?
No cafeteria. We would bring our own lunch, like a lunchbox every day. We would actually also have to bring like our own. We had like huge bags because we would also have to bring our own like snow pants and boots and like regular indoor shoes versus outdoor shoes. So we would bring a ton of stuff.
Like you're going to war, like a whole backpack of supplies.
Oh yeah,
like
4 rations. Yeah.
I mean, they didn't last very long. It was like 40 minutes for the recess, for the main recess, right?
I mean, 40 minutes is still.
That's a good. Yeah, I had like 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's a while, but like, You wouldn't like starve to death behind enemy lines.
I have
think.
good memories of. Okay, wait. First, for the food stuff, in my elementary school, we didn't have a place. We had to bring our own lunch as well. But we had this thing for fourth and fifth grade, where the school would order pizzicato pizza, and you could bring like $2.50 or $3 to buy a few slices of pizza, and then you'd
Wait, you
have.
say pizzicato pizza?
Yeah.
I have never heard of. Is this a musical instrument
No,
game?
pizzicato. It's a company.
I know, but is that they're like
I
little
know that's a
instrument?
musical thing too.
Yeah, well, that's hilarious.
Yeah. So I remember
That's actually really funny. Sorry,
there's a
continue.
distinct memory I have in elementary school, and this really shows how pitiful some of these memories are. Um, I literally couldn't sleep one night because I was just dreaming of having pizzicato pizza the next day. And I couldn't fall asleep because I was like, I'm so excited for tomorrow. Because I rarely got it. Usually I just bring my own lunch that my mom made me. And then this one time my mom was like, okay, yeah, sure. And then I was like dreaming of getting the pizzicato pizza the next day, and I couldn't sleep for the longest time. And
It's good food.
I was just sad. Yeah. I mean, what I was gonna. Oh yeah, I was also gonna say for recess, we never had anything quite as wild, but what we did have was behind the school, we had a whole forest area. We had the school grounds were pretty big, and we had a whole forest area. And for recess, for the older kids, what you could do is go into the woods, and people would build tree forts and stuff for recess, and that was something that we did. So it kind of rivals what you were saying with the snow forts, except we didn't whack people with sticks or anything like that. You get in immediate trouble. That kind of stuff happened. We also had a park across from us with a giant empty soccer field, and sometimes we would have random trips. This wouldn't be during recess, and this is one of those things that I love about the Montessori system, where they just have sometimes random field trips or stuff. Like we would just go across to the park and we play like capture the flag with like 2 class worth of people, so there's like 50 people, 50 kids playing capture the flag on a huge soccer field. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, and with the field trips and stuff, so like sometimes I remember we went to a local science museum called OMSI, Oregon Museum of Science and Industry, and there was this we went there just to visit this exhibit called Body World. This exhibit was they had like real human skeletons and like I don't know if it was real muscles or stuff or those were replicas, but they had like real human stuff, and it was like showcasing different parts of the human body and how stuff worked. And we just had a whole field trip day just like that, and it was a lot of fun. And that's something I really appreciated from the Montessori.
Yeah, we never went on field trips. Montessori.
Oh, really? Yeah, no. I guess my school was a little more like Patrick. We went on quite a few field trips.
Yeah, I went on field trips at the regular school, public school.
Do you have any
Went to the
memorable
Dallas Museum
ones?
Park.
Like, where'd you go? Just like museums as well?
Yeah, we went to see the symphony one time, I remember. That was pretty cool.
Oh, we did too. Not the symphony. We went to see like a play, and we went all the way down to downtown Portland. Like our school wasn't very close to downtown, but we went on a bus and went all the way down to downtown Portland just to see a play. I think this is actually in middle school, not in elementary school, but that was a specific field trip I can remember as well.
In high school, it was an after-school thing, but we went on a field trip to see a musical in the Opera House in downtown Dallas. That was a good time. Nice. And I'm not close to downtown. It's also like 30-minute drive. Yeah, we went to a couple places.
Couple places.
in orchestra, they organized some like trips. Like there was a trip to Disneyland or Disney World, sorry, in Florida.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Like your
Yeah,
class?
they would alternate. Yeah.
Everybody got to go?
Yeah. I mean, you'd have to pay for it.
Oh, okay. For free?
And, yeah, they would like alternate every year. One year they go to Disney World, the next year they go to South Padre Island, and it like worked out because it was a 2-year high school. So
What was the other
everybody got
one?
to go to
South something island?
South Padre Island. It's like a beach kind of thing in South Texas. If you
Oh.
swim far enough, you get to Mexico. Actually, it's really far south.
Nice.
It's a pretty popular beach resort type place.
Is it suitable for... Oh, I guess you were in high school then. I was gonna say,
Yeah.
that sounds like those resort areas. It doesn't sound like a place that is very suitable for a group of elementary school kids.
No. I remember elementary school. Oh yeah, we went to go see what's it called? The play with
Cirque du
the
Soleil?
princess.
Oh,
No, the Princess and the Frog, but it's like a Disney thing.
isn't it called The Princess and the Frog?
What it's called?
Yeah.
We went to go see a play that was the Princess and the Frog. It was in elementary school. I remember.
Nice.
Okay, so we talked about growing up in Canada, the specifics of growing up as a Canadian. How about growing up as in a Spanish-speaking household? So I'm guessing you spoke Spanish when you're at home.
We actually don't speak a lot of Spanish at home. My parents sometimes do to each other, and they sometimes do to us, but like me and my brother. But we kind of just reply in English for the most part. We're
Okay.
very we're very Canadian, not very Venezuelan. Like we are Venezuelan by family, right? But like we don't really know the culture too well. Our accents are pretty terrible, very like English based, and and yeah, I mean, I can speak Spanish and I can understand it, but I can't speak it super well. But I can understand it really well because I get spoken to in Spanish a ton, and then I can just like understand that and then just reply in English. The only times I usually speak continuously in Spanish is if I'm in my grandparents' house, where everyone's speaking Spanish because they don't know how to speak English super well. But I don't. Yeah. There's not a lot of Spanish speaking at home.
So did you not celebrate a lot of different, I don't know what kinds of Spanish holiday or like Venezuelan holidays. Did you celebrate anything like that? Or cultural
There are
traditions?
some like Independence Day things for Venezuelan independence. We don't really celebrate any of the like the ones you typically hear of in school, since those are usually Mexican holidays.
So
But
even like Dia de los Muertos?
Yeah,
that's
Mexican.
Mexican.
That's Mexican.
We don't
Okay, I
really
didn't know that.
I guess really the
every
biggest.
time.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, continue. Sorry.
I was gonna say the biggest holiday that we celebrate is probably just Christmas. Venezuelans are very religious for the most part, so Christmas is just the biggest thing. And there's a ton of cultural food that we have for that, so that's pretty great. But no other really specific Venezuelan holidays.
There's also the one that comes after Christmas, right?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna mention. It's
the Reyes, right?
yes, the Three Kings, right?
Oh yeah, the Three Kings. That's like a uber religious thing, I guess. We don't really like celebrate that. That's also partly because we're not super religious anymore. Yeah, I don't know.
Can you write or read Spanish very well? Like as good as you're listening, or is it more like you're speaking?
I can write and read it pretty well. It's just my accent is terrible.
Okay. So
like if I were to go to Venezuela right now and start speaking like they would mug me because they know that I'm American.
See, I am the exact opposite. I have the accent, but I can't speak, read, or write Spanish.
Oh,
Wait. So,
interesting.
how did you practice your writing and reading? If you like, what was your avenue of practicing that?
Oh, it's really just like, well, writing is a little harder because I have to like come up with words. But my vocabulary for Spanish is pretty large. And most of my writing practice is probably actually in Spanish classes, where I'd write like big Spanish essays and whatnot. But for Spanish reading, we would also get like Spanish books that we could read. But for the most part, it's just like I would just phonetically say the words on the text in my head, and then I would just know what that means. Um, so, like a great example of that is like por versus para.
Mm.
I don't understand
Mhm.
like most of the actual linguistic stuff behind it, like why this is used here and this is there.
Yeah.
I just can hear it, and I just know it's either wrong or it's correct. Like I just know
Mhm.
based off whatever it is.
It's just like an
Um,
intuitive thing because
yeah,
from
it's
conversation and stuff, you know when
mhm.
to use one versus the other.
Yeah, and yeah, so that got me pretty far in Spanish. But I really don't know a lot about like the culture or uh, uh, other things like that, like music and foods and stuff.
Wait,
So I've
since you're a fan of our podcast, we had this short segment, I think it was like an episode or 2 episodes ago, of we were trying to write an email, right?
oh yeah,
About turning in a late assignment, and we were trying to do it in Spanish.
yeah.
What did you think of our attempts there?
They were not bad. They were pretty good. Uh, like there weren't like a super like an essay or anything like mega conversational or anything. So they were pretty good. Um,
I'll
I don't know. We
take that.
didn't
I'll take that.
say too much if I remember.
Yeah, we said
It
like
was good.
5 words.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
we
how
said
we got
like 5
started.
words. I just wanted some reaffirmance, some
Feedback.
yes, not feedback, some what's the word? It's like reaffirmant, but like congratulations.
Reassurance or
That
something.
sounds too intense.
Some pat on the back
Yeah, in that vein, and I got it. I'll take it,
from Professor Gustavo.
Mhm.
professor.
You see, Elan definitely has a pretty good accent.
But I
would
don't
say
know any of the words. No
yeah,
tengo el vocabulario.
Okay, so
Vocabulario.
if you two started like, would you, Gus, with your speaking, would you be confident in keeping up with, like, if someone started speaking to you through a conversation, would you be able to keep up with them in Spanish?
oh yeah,
Just okay,
yeah, for sure.
for sure.
Mhm. So another thing, another interesting thing is not all of Southern Americans speak the same type of Spanish. So like, um, there's a very big difference between Spain Spanish, of course, and everyone else,
El
and
teteo.
even yeah, with the lisp, and even with Mexican and Venezuelan is a huge difference, which is usually not taught in schools, since usually in American schools you get taught Mexican Spanish. And one thing that I've been told is that Venezuelan Spanish is probably the hardest Spanish to understand because Venezuelan Spanish is the fastest. So
Oh wow.
unlike Mexican Spanish, where they pronounce every word and every letter in every word, in Venezuelan Spanish, they actually usually don't. Like they just like blend words together. There's a ton. They just go super fast. So that kind of Spanish I can somewhat keep up with, but that's like the high end of like super advanced, like mega native Spanish.
Uh-huh.
So when you speak Spanish, is it fast? Like,
No, I don't
okay,
speak it very fast.
Also,
Alright.
My
the news
parents.
anchors,
Mhm.
Spanish. The news anchors always speak super fast. You
Oh
ever
yeah.
hear Spanish news? They like it's like you have 30 seconds. Recite all of the news. Go, and then they just go.
Yeah, like the Tango Burr. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So like my parents, they say they speak pretty slowly. And in comparison to my grandparents who speak Venezuelan Spanish like all the time, they do speak very slowly. But even my grandparents that are here in the States, they do speak like some English and don't speak Spanish all the time. Like they have like neighbors and stuff. But my other family that's in Venezuela, so they're speaking fast Spanish all the time. They like speak super fast, and it's hard to keep up with them. But usually I can understand everything just either based off context or just vocabulary stuff.
So is the only difference for Venezuelan Spanish the speed, or is there other kinds of distinct characteristics that you know as well?
So it's the speed and the missing of certain characters. So let's see, I can.
Some of the words are different too.
Yeah, some of the words are different. That's the same for every country there. But like, I'm trying to look for an example. Venezuelan Spanish would they would like skip over a bunch of words of letters in the words, so you wouldn't pronounce every letter in a word. For example, let me.
As an aside, my middle school Spanish teacher that I talked about before, Mr. Dr. A, he was from Colombia, but whenever he said Venezuela, he would say Venezuela. Like he made a big point about saying it's like the V and the B are like you're supposed to say it with like a B. Is that something that's actually
like just that could be maybe a cultural thing for like
Okay.
different regions. I don't know if that's a strict rule.
The
but
way the B is pronounced in Spanish is very similar to a V. It's like the linguistic term is a bilabial fricative, a voice bilabial fricative, which is a va. So it's not a very hard B whenever the B is pronounced. So they're very similar sounds. Anyway, what were we saying, Goose?
He was looking up a word for to demonstrate the Venezuelan. I'm saying Venezuelan now. Venezuelan Spanish characteristics.
Well, there's a lot of slang as well. That's a big thing.
Do you know any slang?
Well, actually, I don't know what the slang is in other, or I don't know what the non-slang is in like Mexican Spanish. So I don't know what certain words are, if they're slang or not, because I only know the Venezuelan music or the Venezuelan accents and slang. But something like "Hola, chamo, ¿cómo estás? Todo fino," would be. So when you say something like fino, that means fine, but that's kind of like, hey dude, how you doing? Versus in Mexico, I think there's a different word like that you would use instead of like todo fino. I can't.
Right, todo fino is in like a question, like all fine, like all good.
All good, pretty much. Like, how you doing, dude? And like I really butchered that accent. Like if you say like I don't know if you heard if I said "Cómo estás?" I'm speaking that very slowly, so I pronounce "estás." So all of those
"Cómo estás?" You missed the. I always see the way I was taught to say "Cómo estás" because that's like the first. Like the first thing you say to anybody. That's the only thing I knew before taking Spanish in high school. The E was dropped every time. ¿Cómo estás?
Oh yeah, ¿cómo estás? Something like that. Even sometimes S's are dropped, like ¿cómo estás, chamo? Or ¿cómo estás, chamo? I don't really know. I can't really pronounce it.
Oh yeah, the you replace you drop the last letter and replace it with an H. That's the thing that even Mexicans do. Also, I think sometimes.
Sometimes, but they do pronounce things a lot more. That's just what my parents have said. And
like lo, you don't say los sometimes, right?
Yeah. So there's a bunch of little things like that that makes Venezuelan Spanish pretty difficult to understand, just because it's fast and because they drop a bunch of characters and words. But I can mostly keep up with it.
That's good.
can't speak it. I can hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Elan, do you know any characteristics of Nicaraguan Spanish, or is your command not strong enough?
I don't know anything. I think I might have at one point actually known a little bit. But my Spanish is
Do you know enough Spanish to keep up a conversation?
no.
So
I mean,
if Gus here started talking to you, like,
see, the issue is I don't know any words. My vocabulary is really, really bad.
okay, wait, why don't we try something
look up every other word.
super simple? Like, imagine you two are meeting for the first time. Like, this is orientation week.
Oh my gosh.
In college, okay?
Hola.
You have to introduce yourself, say you're like...
We had the same conversation over and over again. But in like intro Spanish, it was like, hola, ¿cómo estás? ¿Cuál es tu nombre? ¿Cómo te llamas? You know, like, ¿cuál es tu número de teléfono? You know, tu dirección.
Okay, then we'll switch it up. How about not a week? How about you're at a store and
see, I don't know the names of food.
I can't think.
I remember one time I was in Spain and I was trying to order a yogurt because the lady didn't speak English. It was a frozen yogurt. I need the word yogurt. Yeah, and that was about it.
Is that yogurt?
Yeah, yogurt. I was like, yeah.
Okay, wait. So weren't you all good? You could order the yogurt.
When you want to order a frozen, if you're going up into a frozen yogurt place, right?
It's
pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious that you want frozen yogurt.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Yeah. So I had a good time.
Was there difficulty in picking out the toppings, like saying all the like gummy bears or?
Yeah, there was a lot of pointing, being like no,
see, no.
Oh yeah.
Okay, wait.
Yeah.
Well then, at least with the introducing yourself, you at least have experience with that, right? So why don't we try that right now, Mr. Gus and?
No, I can't speak Spanish. Remember, so I'm kind of similar to Elan in that it's hard for me to come up with words. Like I have a reserve of words that I just know off the top of my head, but in a more complex conversation, it's hard to figure out the right word unless it was previously spoken to me. So if someone's telling me the word, I know that word, but I can't come up with it on my own pretty easily.
See, I have that difficulty. On top of that, because I'm not used to the language, I also have to like make everything fit together grammatically, and that takes computational time because I just have like a set of like grammar rules memorized.
Yeah.
And then I have to like fit them in those grammar rules. Like I assume like for you it like feels more natural.
Yeah, it's much more natural. I don't
like when I'm speaking English. Yeah. I don't think of like, okay, this is the verb order and the
preposition.
Yeah. But when I'm speaking Spanish, I think of it like that because I'm just like not used to it, you know.
Okay, I guess we'll leave off it then. Do you feel comfortable enough with your Spanish, Gus, that you would put it on as like a skill on your LinkedIn profile? You were applying it to someone.
Yeah. I think I have it on my LinkedIn, or at least on my resume, just as an extra language.
How about you, Elan?
Yeah. I mean, I sound like I speak Spanish.
Yeah, he does. I thought he spoke really good Spanish.
Faking it until you make it.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's gonna double check. Every time I've spoken Spanish, people are like, "Wow, that's a pretty good Spanish accent."
Yeah,
I'm like, "Yeah, but I don't actually know how to speak Spanish."
You're like the guy from Inglourious Basterds who spoke all the language.
Except he wasn't really. I think he actually knew how to speak those languages.
Yeah.
Well, according to the actor,
Oh yeah, the actor didn't know.
He knew he just recited the script.
For Italian
accent.
I think he actually speaks fluent German, English, and French.
He's German.
He's
he
Austrian.
Speaks English. Yeah.
He speaks English, German, and French fluently. And then I think it was the Italian that he doesn't actually know.
That's a pretty good Italian accent. I mean, I'm not Italian, so I don't know, but it sounded pretty good.
Exactly. That's crazy.
to people who don't speak the language, if you can convince them that you sound like a native speaker, it's like already impressive enough.
Which is usually not too hard for Americans. And
Yeah,
like
Americans
English.
don't really know.
Yeah.
It's not a high bar to cross for American.
Yeah.
So I wonder if I can like mimic other accents. This is something I've thought of a lot. Because Spanish, it was easy because like I have family that speaks Spanish, and so like I can like the accent was around me, like floating around a little bit.
Yeah.
But I wonder if I like started learning Italian, could I just like mimic the Italian accent? I wonder if I could do that.
Duolingo is.
Il bambino mangiano una mela, you know.
I feel like you can do that because one thing that I noticed is sometimes when people are learning, I notice this with people that learn English as a second language sometimes, if they can overcome their own like native accent that is associated with English, I sometimes have noticed from videos online there's like a distinction between people who learn American English and British English, like where they're not actually British or American and they learn as a second language. Depending on how like the instructors or the course where they learned it from, then they actually can develop that accent as well. And so I feel like
develop an American accent.
Well, they speak it like an American, where there's like a standard accent, right? You can't, like more of the standard English accent, where you can't. It's not very distinctive. But where I really saw it was there's a person who was learning English.
The standard American accent is an accent, right? That is it is a distinct accent. Like it is extremely distinctive, actually.
Right, and so what I saw in the video was that this person who learned English as a second language didn't speak it natively, like at home or anything like that, and then they had like a British accent kind of developed in how they spoke English, probably because they studied in the UK when they were in college or something. So I feel like what you were saying with
characteristics.
What you were saying with acquiring or learning the accent, I feel like it's totally doable.
Yeah, but the issue is I'm an adult now, and it gets harder as you get older.
Yeah, but I think those people were still learning when they were like college age and high school age, so I feel like it's still possible for you if you really put your mind to it.
Like if I started learning Chinese, I don't think I could do it.
Well, you could try.
Like, I sound like a native speaker of Spanish when I speak Spanish. I don't think I will ever be capable of speaking Chinese, even a few words, like a native speaker of Chinese.
It's very hard for people to, even like people, there are people online that go on like Chinese talk shows and stuff, and their command of the actual Chinese language, like vocabulary and how fluently they can actually speak it and carry on a conversation, is like way better than me. But you can easily tell like it's an accent, and it's very hard. I've found from seeing like different videos of people of like foreigners when they learn Chinese. I haven't really seen a single foreigner where they've been able to get like the accent as well for that one.
Because it's a tonal thing also, right?
I know, and that's how you can tell easily with the accent. Like it's very obvious with how sometimes like if you grow up speaking it from birth, there's like just certain ways or tones, and people if you're just learning it as a second language, you don't grow up with it, I guess you just like forget, or you don't pay as much attention to it, or don't do it like as much. You don't have as much of the tonal variety, and it's very obvious to even someone like me who is actually not very good at Chinese. So
better at Chinese than I am at Spanish.
Probably, because I actually speak at home.
Yeah. That's tough. I don't speak at home because there's no like the only unifying language at home is English. So
yeah.
And also my grandparents all speak English. So I don't need to like
you could try
translate.
Well, if you even since you have parents from like two different cultures, it gives you even more opportunity. You could have learned like Hindi and What's the
I would have been
Bengali?
Bengali actually.
Bengali.
Bengali is my family's tongue. Hindi is that's like you learn Hindi in school because that's like the state. That's what they teach you.
Yeah, so you could have learned Bengali and Spanish and English.
I could have, but I mean, is it my fault that I didn't? I don't know.
Yeah, if your parents didn't actively speak to you in that when you were growing up, then it's hard.
No. My parents wanted me to be American. Here I am.
Do you feel American?
I do. I really do.
It's good.
I'm proud to be an American.
Wait, so how about Gus? Do you feel Canadian still, or do you feel like an American now?
Oh, it's hard to say because I spent most of my like important development years actually in the U.S. Right, high school and such. So while I'm not really American, I might feel more American than Canadian just because I've kind of forgotten a lot about Canada, and I really don't know like a lot of what's going on there. And I mean, they're pretty similar, so it's not like there's a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're like the same country pretty much. There's like Tim Hortons up there, but that's about
Tim
it.
Hortons, we got milk in bags. Pretty great.
Yeah. They speak French in Quebec.
Oh yeah, we learned French, but I don't know any French.
That's okay.
Is it required to learn French in school?
That's only in like Quebec, isn't it?
Well, our school was in Ontario, so but we still had a French class. But that was also a private school, so I don't know if it is for a public school.
I think it's required in Quebec, but
that would make sense.
Not, I doubt in the rest of Canada. It's not.
I know Justin Trudeau speaks French. I was watching a press conference, and like halfway through, he just like switched to French, and I was like, "Wow,
just flexing."
Oh yeah. So that same friend I mentioned, who was Quebec, is in Montreal actually. Their primary school is all in French, so they pretty much just have to learn French. But he's also Venezuelan, so he knows Spanish from home, and he's also in Canada, so he knows English. So he's
wow,
trilingual.
Yeah,
the man himself. What a beast!
Oh yeah,
that's how you win. All right. A bit of rewind. I remember when you were talking about your time in elementary school in Canada, you said you only started doing like computer stuff or technical stuff after you moved. Right? So how did you become like start this love or fascination with Linux? Because I assume when kids get introduced to computers and stuff, you usually have like a Mac or a Windows, right? So how did this Linux stuff?
Yeah, Linux is actually a pretty recent thing for me. I started poking around with Linux in the summer after high school, so it's not been very long, actually.
So what did you use before?
I just used a Mac and a Windows PC. So I started off with the Mac because, I started off with the Mac because my parents all used Mac. We were a pretty Apple family back then. But then I wanted to play PC games, and Macs don't work for PC gaming. So I got a Windows machine, built my computer. I had a bunch of friends who were very techy, right? So they got me interested in a lot of tech stuff, like gaming and building my own computers and like PC hardware and stuff. So I was pretty much into Windows for most of high school, actually for all of high school, for the gaming aspect mostly. And then in summer of senior year, when I realized I actually need to do like programming, I had learned about this thing called Linux, which I previously just didn't really know anything about. And then I just gave it a try because I saw it was free and it's pretty easy to like get set up. And I just never really looked back. It's just so much better for like development stuff, in my opinion.
And the opinion of many others.
Yeah, like I mean,
wait, so that means
command.
This was only after. So when you first came to CMU, that was you were still kind of getting acquainted with Linux.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I wasn't a huge Linux person at the time. So when I first came to CMU, my laptop was running Windows, but I knew what
Really?
Linux was. Oh yeah, it was.
So I met you when you were still a Linux baby.
Yeah.
Now he's a Linux god.
Yeah, I have seen your transition. I didn't even realize.
I don't think of a Linux god. There's very, very deep Linux knowledge that I do not know.
Okay, well, you're way more of a Linux. You're a relative Linux god compared to us, where
Linux,
we
Linux
know like
adolescent.
like LS, yeah, how to like, operate, navigate a file directory, and that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, well, when you begin daily driving an operating system, it becomes pretty easy to get acquainted with it. My main reason that I stuck with it actually was because of the customization. So I really liked playing around with things, like even just themes of little things that like Windows just super annoying. Like for example, if you have your window for Windows and you just don't like the X button, you just want it to be something else, like a circle or something, or you want it to be on the left side. If you want it to be on the left side, you would have to switch to Mac. If you want it to be on the right side, you'd have to switch to Windows. On Linux, you can do whatever. You can have them both. You can have no buttons, actually. And all of that can be tuned with code. All of that can be, all of the desktop environment stuff is all open source. So you can just read how it works and just tune it, or just install plugins that other people make that just give you like so much more functionality. And then I was just like, hey, this is pretty cool. And since it worked really well with CMU, like course
File
stuff, since everything was SSHing
Yeah.
and like using the Andrew machines, which were all Linux based, and like GPI, of course, too. Then
GPI, for those who don't know, is a class that is meant to get CS majors acquainted with computer things.
Like
Yep.
practical computer things.
Yeah.
So like Git and Bash are some of the main ones.
I feel like that's all we learned. What else did we learn in that class?
Oh, we learned like
There was-
regex, right?
Yeah,
What?
And we
Rejects?
regex,
Oh.
regular expressions.
Wait,
Yeah.
we did? I don't
Yeah,
remember
there was
that.
like there was that. There was like grep stuff also, and like
We
Yeah,
learned
but I
about,
feel
like,
I put that
AIM.
under like the Linux stuff. Like, or
Yeah, I
does that
guess.
not count? I feel like that counts, right? It's like grouped with
Yeah. Then it really
Yeah,
is mostly
I mean-
just Linux course.
there was Vim also,
You know, Vim Linux.
Oh yeah, that's true.
and yeah. I think there was something on LaTeX also at the very end, which is completely useless.
Oh yeah, we had already done one.
We already do. I
151
remember
for those who are unaware.
this was such
is a class.
a. I remember at the beginning of CMU, like the first 1 or 2 weeks, I went to a LaTeX tutorial class, like
Oh,
teach you
yeah.
how to LaTeX, and then I don't think I used anything they said, because even now when I do LaTeX, it's like the same 4 or 5 commands that I do to just write my LaTeX file. LaTeX.
I don't know. I mean, you only really need a couple.
Yeah.
Formatting things is nice. /par. Some things.
What is
Actually,
/r?
Begin apply. I mean, begin align star is good.
I don't know
Yeah.
what those two are. I've never used those two.
You never used a line?
I don't think so.
Really?
I don't think I have either.
I don't think so.
A
I
line?
use,
Like
like,
begin /begin a line?
Oh yeah, I don't.
I
just
don't-
like push things like I think there's like /begin left and begin right to push something to the left or right, and then there's like center. I just use center.
I just use if I want to center something, I just do $, and then I just do $.
Yeah,
for
but
math
what
men.
if you? Yeah, but then what if you have like multiple things that you want to center?
And then you just put them all in $.
But then what if they're different? Like, what if
You
it's like a
change-
chain of equations?
Um.
If you have a chain of equations and you want to like align the equal sign,
Uh.
how do you do
Oh. Oh yeah, I probably did use align then, but I haven't done that kind of equation stuff in a like since last year, since like 151, the discrete math class. So
Yeah,
I don't think because you don't have to do that kind of stuff in the CS classes
I've
where
done
you
it.
use a lot.
Yeah, I've
Like
used it
when?
in 210. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I used it quite a bit. Like when we were doing the okay, this is like boring as fuck for the podcast. this,
Well, you can't just say that and then not just continue with
well,
it.
you
Why
want me
don't you
to say
explain?
okay? All right,
Keep
I'm sorry. All
going.
right,
Keep
so
going.
when we were doing the substitution method in 210, all right,
Okay.
and we were everything was like less than equal to, then I would use the align stuff.
Okay. Oh,
You know.
I know what I did. I literally just started everything left aligned and I didn't put it in the center. And it worked just because everything was still you put the equal is the first character, so everything would still be aligned.
No, but it was like this thing is equal to that, right? Which is less than equal to like A less than A is equal to B less than equal to C, right? So the less than equal to needs to be aligned with the equal sign, right? But the equal sign is offset because of the A, right? It's A equals B.
What?
So you need to align, right?
I
You need to. This is like the textbook use case for aligned star.
Okay,
Or
well,
aligned.
I wrote my equations in such a way where that kind of problem never came up.
All right, sorry, my brain isn't big enough to do that. So I have to use the extra command. Like this is the most like pointless thing. This should not be in the podcast.
We're keeping it in the podcast.
Right.
Okay, so where were we? We were talking about Linux.
Hmm,
Oh yeah, wait, I was gonna say you were talking about with Linux you can customize like Windows, right? If you want, like the X button, put it on the left, put it on the right. But you have to do that with code, right? And
No, you don't
that's what deters people because they don't want to have to write a script just to move an X,
Right.
the X
So
button.
there is a higher learning curve. There is a higher learning curve to Linux than the other operating systems, that's for sure. But that learning curve kind of coincided with what I was doing anyways, so it worked out for me. But not everything has to be done with code. I'm saying for more advanced things, like
So that
moving,
counts as an advanced thing, moving the X button?
that's not necessarily an advanced thing. I'm just saying that's what I would do. I would change it with code rather than using something pre-scripted that someone else would make. But you totally can. So Linux has grown a lot more newcomer friendly, where you can actually go to like just a store that just has like all of these themes that are pre-curated by other Linux folks, and you can just download them, try them out, and if you don't like it, you just uninstall it and then try a new one. And those could be even minor themes that just like move whatever over, or change the color of this thing, or change the transparency of this window, or something else. So not everything has to be done with code, but I just meant that as everything can be done with code. And I think people get confused that everything has to be done with code. That's usually not the case now. Like those memes where it's like Linux users installing a web browser, and it's just like a bunch of terminals, just like all this like hacker text and stuff. When in reality, you just go to the Chrome website or whatever browser website, just click download, and you click this green button that just says like open in like most modern distros. Distros being distributions, so like Ubuntu, Fedora, or whatever. You just like click some buttons and then it just gets installed because all the scripting and stuff is done in the background. So the UI has grown a lot. So it's a lot more user friendly now than it has been, but it's still, I would say, quite a bit behind other operating systems. But that also is in part due to the fact that other operating systems just don't offer this functionality in any way. Everything is much more locked down.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So moving on from this interest in Linux, you're also, while here at CMU, doing the AI major. So how did your interest in AI start? Was this something that you already came before CMU interested in wanting to do the AI major, or was this something that more developed as you learned more about it?
This was actually decided before. I think so. I actually began looking at CMU more as one of my top choices because they had a very unique thing, which is the AI major, which was the first of its kind, very much on the forefront of the technology. And like I knew AI is going to be, it's not going anywhere soon. It's going to still be pretty high up in the CS importance levels or whatever.
So did you have
And
an interest in AI before?
oh
Like,
yeah,
did you... Okay.
So I was just about to get to that. I did do some like mini projects that had like inspirations from AI things, and I knew that AI was cool, and it was very cool. Um, but I also knew that there were a bunch of like buzzwords behind it, and I wanted to figure out, okay, what is uh what is the fake AI, and then how do I like it's gonna sound like corny, but like, how do I make the world a better place with AI? And I felt like it would be the best place to do that would be at CMU, with all the research labs and everything. And
So
so
even
far,
if you went to a different school, would you still want to pursue like AI related studies?
yep, I think
Okay.
that would still be on my radar. I'd do like a minor in it since no one else has a AI major. But here, I found that I've enjoyed most of the AI courses. And pretty much all the electives I want to take that aren't systems are AI based in some way. It's pretty based. Doing the AI major kind of works well with what I was aligned to. And yeah,
That's good.
it's cool.
I was previously, before CMU, interested in AI stuff, and then the first AI class I took kind of killed that. The
Yeah,
concepts of AI.
that was the bad class. I mean, actually, every single AI, anything related to AI class that I have taken, not really a good time. Not really a good time. Despite that,
Despite that.
my concentration is in machine learning. So, well, I don't know.
Well, maybe the future classes will be better.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Do you even have do you have any interest in machine learning AI, Elan?
Yeah, it's cool.
It's just the courses are taught.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
it's
enough
like
of a motivation. Like, if you think it's cool and you want to learn about it, yeah, I feel like that's good enough motivation or reasoning for pursuing something as a concentration or a major. It's kind of what Gus said. He said he was interested in AI, right? And he wanted to do stuff with it, so now he's doing it. It's awesome. Do you have any particular classes that you're looking forward to with AI that, I don't know, did you have any classes before coming to CMU that you saw CMU had, or was it just like the AI program in general?
It was mostly the AI program. I didn't do too much research into specific courses. I just knew that pretty much all the courses should be good, right? It's the top school or whatever.
Should be good, yeah.
Yes.
Should be.
And so far, I very much enjoyed computer vision, which is technically an AI course. So that's been really fun, and therefore I'm looking forward to computational photography, which I'm also planning on taking, which is kind of like CV but more, more the optic stuff, I guess. And I'm also looking forward to autonomous agents, which is 15482, I think. That's a course, another course in the AI department. Right, I forgot to mention this, but another motivation that I wanted to do AI is because I was interested in self-driving cars. I still am very much so. And self-driving cars and AI go pretty well together. So anything like autonomous agent related, I was like on board.
I know that you did research before. so far at CMU, right? Was that any of those related with AI, or was it different?
Oh yeah, so my research has actually been really great. It's probably one of my favorite things about coming to CMU. So my first project, I have done 2 projects so far, and my first project was over the summer and over the fall, where I made a simulator based off of social navigation algorithms. So I was a big fan of like simulating things, like writing a code to simulate something. Uh, and I've done robotics in the past, and I tried to do a little bit of like AI in these robotics, like simple AI, like just you know,
Navigating surroundings.
autonomous, getting this robot to like perform this action in a decent way that has like some sort of correction.
Yeah.
So very simple stuff. I didn't really take any courses before that. And then the project I did before was pretty AI based in the sense that, well, I guess not too AI based. That's more this current project. But the previous one was a simulator for social navigation on this robot, which is kind of similar to what I was aiming towards, which is like maybe like a simulator in self-driving cars. I think that would be really cool.
Did you
and
say
then
social navigation?
Yes. So that's sorry, I guess I didn't explain that. That's given an environment that has a bunch of pedestrians in it. So it's a crowded environment that has agents that are walking, so they have movement. Have a robot traverse through this crowd and reach a goal
I see.
with disturbing the least amount of people, like based off some cost metrics.
Okay, I see. When I heard social navigation, I was like, wow, so this robot is trying to move up in the social circles.
He's trying to make it in life.
Oh, yeah. I guess if he bumps into a person and they get angry, then that could end the robot's life.
Someone in the crowd.
Stomps on the little robot. Yeah, so that was really cool. And then my most recent project was actually even more in line with what I wanted to do, which was self-driving vehicles, because it's a project on this like much larger scale autonomous vehicle simulator, where I'm converting the simulator to work in VR and have specific eye tracking capabilities, so that when doing user studies for how people drive in this environment for certain like tests, we can measure how their eye gaze is tracked and what they're looking at, and like see if the AI has any relationship to what someone's looking at. So, for example, if you're driving on a fast highway behind someone and they instantly slam on the brakes, maybe the direction that you look at first, like left or right to swerve out of the way, is an indicator of what direction you actually end up taking. It probably is, but that's like a test that we can verify with this kind of simulator. And we want to see if if an AI driving the vehicle would make the same decision, or if it would make a worse, more dangerous decision, which we'd want to avoid. So it's really cool stuff. The research at CMU is really great. I highly recommend it. Yeah.
It's good that you're enjoying your research.
Yeah, I was gonna say kind of the same thing. I want to get into research, but I haven't really had an opportunity yet, or in like a topic or interesting topic where I've been to the point where I would ask a professor and be like, can I join? Can I join your research? But that's cool that you've found something, which is pretty awesome.
How did you find this opportunity? Did you,
yeah. If we imagine some prospective student who just is coming to CMU and they want to.
Well, there's also like different ways of doing it. I was curious which like your avenue.
Right. Yeah.
Mine was actually through the Tom spreadsheet that he sends out every semester.
Yeah, Tom being one of our advisors.
Right. Yeah. He sends out a spreadsheet with a bunch of just like professors, like their projects, a little abstract, and then their email. So how to get in contact with them, and like requirements, like what are they looking for in a student? Like, can they do this language? Have they taken these courses or whatever? And then from there, I just emailed this one guy for this project, and this project was actually different than the project I ended up doing, because he pointed me to another guy who was looking for an intern, like a research intern, but didn't put his name on the spreadsheet. He just like forgot. And then I was like, I like that other project better, so I just kind of switched over to that project. But it all started from the spreadsheet. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
You have
I
to
think
do an
it's good.
interview still.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh yeah. How was
sure,
that?
yeah.
That was very, very chill. It was just like the grad students who are the ones conducting the interview, just kind of talking to you, seeing what you're interested in, and then seeing if you like it's not a technical interview. It's just seeing if you would be interested in working with them and what you would be able to contribute. So it's not like, okay, can you solve this graphics problem if you want to write this thing? Yeah, it's pretty chill, because for the most part, what I've learned by hanging around these grad students is that they actually really want interns if they have something to do. So if they've put their name on that spreadsheet, it's a very good chance that they are in need of an intern to do the work that they don't want to do, right? So
no, but then you get stuck with doing something that you don't want to do, right?
right, so that is the danger side. So I got very fortunate in that the research opportunities I was given have been very in line with what I want to do, and I only signed up for the first research, right? But apparently, since I did reasonably decent job on the first project, they just kind of upgraded me to this new project, which I just was able to go in without any like interviews or anything. I just like
awesome.
kept going,
making moves.
Yeah, so it's been good. But I do also know some other friends of mine tried to follow and go through the spreadsheet and find something interesting, and then they ended up doing something that's very just like boring and they didn't really enjoy. So it's definitely very luck based, and I feel very fortunate that I've been where I am now. Yeah,
I feel like CMU offers a lot of these opportunities. Like, I think the advisors do a good job, at least in promoting this kind of stuff. Whereas maybe in other schools, it's harder. You have to motivate yourself more to actually reach out without having like a spreadsheet, a convenient spreadsheet that tells you who to contact, what they're doing. You have to like initiate it yourself more. I guess props to CMU in that regard, making it easier for the students' life if they want to get involved in research.
Especially undergrads, right?
Yeah, especially
for
undergrads.
Undergrads doing research is not super common, and especially like undergrads getting papers out of their research is not very common.
Right.
And then I've also heard from other friends at other universities that even just research that is paid is not very common.
Yeah.
So,
were you paid for this?
CMU,
your research that you did?
I was paid for both of the projects that I've been doing.
And was it published or in a paper or anything like that?
Yeah, I actually do have the preprint for the journal that we submitted.
His name's going to be on a paper.
Look at that.
It's on.
Big man on campus.
Making money moves. Let's go.
So yeah, I've been like beyond grateful that I got this place.
Was this undergraduate research? Was this something that you looked at or even noticed when you were comparing?
No.
Okay. It was just something that manifested.
The reason I actually was looking into research is because I hadn't gotten an internship for the summer. So I was just like, all right, let's see what research has to offer. And then I ended up just doing this, and it's been like amazing. So
nice.
You never know.
Everything always works out.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's great.
It's kind of related to what I want to quickly go to next, which was what was like the decision for coming to CMU? How many different other colleges did you apply to, and how successful was that endeavor? And then how hard was it to finally pick CMU over everything else?
Oh, geez. Is this a question for me or Elan or me and
I
Elan?
think
Are we
more
gonna
for
go in
you.
turns?
We've talked
Yeah,
with
my
Elan.
college experience was very kind of boring.
Yeah, this is
Okay,
more for you.
mine's a little interesting. So I applied to like 25 places.
Oh,
It's
wow,
kind
that's
of
a
a
lot.
lot.
Shotgun, you know?
And I've been
Wait. Before you go, how many of those were on the Common App?
more than half. I
Okay.
think.
That's still even if it's like more than half, so like 13, 15, that's still like 10 other separate applications
Oh yeah,
that you
yeah.
had to do.
For sure. I mean, a lot of like the essay prompts can just be carried over.
Yes.
Like for the UC application,
That's true, yeah.
they can be
Yeah.
carried over. But yeah, I did apply to I think almost all the UCs, uh, quite a few Ivies, some other big name CS schools like Harvey Mudd, Caltech, MIT, of course, Stanford, which are I don't think they're on the Common App. Not all of them. Some of them are.
MIT is not, I remember. Their website
Oh
like went
yeah,
down.
MIT. I even made a video for MIT.
Yo,
It's funny.
I did too. Yo, wait, I want to see your video. We'll see it
Okay,
after the
later.
podcast.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but yeah, I was pretty lucky in that I actually got most of the places that I was looking into. Um, um, and at the end of the day, the thing that actually, oh, okay, so this is actually a kind of a funny thing. The main decision driver. Okay, actually, let me back up even further. So by like early spring, which is like after all the apps have been submitted, right? Which is like in December, they all get submitted, and then you're just done. And then it's like senioritis season. You don't really care, right?
Good times.
Yeah, good time. But then you get like the next few months of like anxious, like waiting and checking your emails and stuff, or maybe not checking your emails because you know when the decision dates are coming out.
Wait, early spring for submitting all your stuff.
Oh
Really?
no. Submitting all the stuff was before early spring.
Oh, okay, before. Yeah.
And then in early spring, this is the timeline I'm talking about right now.
Yeah.
So early spring of high school, senior year, so pretty much second semester senior year. I was very lucky as well, where I got a call from a Yale recruiter saying that I had gotten into this like special Yale honors program
What the?
way before. What was it for? Sorry, what was that?
I said flex lord.
Oh. It was kind of funny. It was it was the Yale
Some honors program, yeah.
is the Yes program or something?
These are good flexes. Stuff to be proud of. So something with Yale.
So it was kind of a big deal.
Was it related with CS?
It was CS based, yeah. So it was like
okay. That's even
thing
better
for minorities.
Oh, okay.
And the main thing is that I got this like call in early spring, so way before I expected to hear anything back from any colleges, right? But so that means like Yale was pretty much my top choice, and I was pretty much set. I didn't really care about what else I got. For the vast majority of the rest of my like of my college whatever time the next few months, because like I already had this pretty great school that was like saying like, hey, we really want you.
And
like,
when they
it's a
reached
small
out
program.
when they reached
feeling.
out this early, was it with an expectation that you had to accept then, or did they give you like
Nope.
a really generous timeline too?
Oh yeah, I had to decide by the times that the regular admissions had to decide, so I wasn't pressured
May
into it or
1st.
Oh
anything.
wow.
It was just like an early
Huge.
notification of admission.
Okay.
That's pretty much what it was.
All right.
And they invited me to like go to campus to like experience some like Yale days or whatever they call them.
Was that paid for?
It was paid for, yeah.
Whoa!
So it was like a great thing, right? It's pretty incredible. So like my so right. So I was saying that was like my top at the time. So the bar was pretty high set at my very first school. And that was one of the reach schools that I had put in, right? So like I did not expect it at all. And then after that point, I pretty much like senioritis full way until then other schools came out, and I had gotten other opportunities that also looked good and were potentially on par or better than Yale in terms of CS. So I had gotten a lot of choices. So I got a lot of choices that I had to make. And the main driving factor that ended up putting me into CMU was actually the college tours that I ended up doing at the very end, where we went to the East Coast. This is my first time being in the East Coast for a really long time. Just be like, for a week, where we did a big road trip from Yale to others like big tech schools around there.
Was
That's
this
like when
was this the trip where you went to Canada too?
when we went to Cornell, and we went to MIT as well. But MIT, I didn't actually get admitted. I got, but we went to the campus just to like see it, right? And like just like to talk to some recruiters and see what they had to say. But was funny is that at MIT, when I was eating breakfast, I got the admission from CMU that I had gotten in, and CMU was not on our to go on that trip because I just didn't think I would actually get in. So when we had gotten that, when I got that email, like eating breakfast at MIT, I was just like, okay, screw MIT. I'm just gonna go over there. And then I just kind of road tripped. We had a whole plan to visit all these schools. Like I think Brown was on the list, Harvard. Not all of these schools I got into, but it was just kind of a visiting thing since they were all very nearby. And we just kind of like skipped all those. We were like, okay, we're not going there. And we just did this huge detour across like Pennsylvania because CMU's on the other side. And we drove all the way, like we did MIT, we did Yale. I think we did one or two others, and then went all the way to CMU. And that was the very first CMU admit day that I attended. It's the first one they offered. It was funny because it was also on April 1st. So I was like, okay, is this real? But it was, sure enough, it was real. And that was the time when I like first stepped foot on campus. I actually met some students that are in the class of 2023 SCS that day, of whose names I won't give out here. I'll give them out later. And I had kept in contact with them as well. And I had like kind of just like really enjoyed that day, like just being in Gates for the first time was pretty incredible compared to a bunch of other schools. And then also hearing from the professors, some of the professors were talking, and Reed Simmons and Tom were both there.
No way, Reed Simmons.
I remember I saw Reed Simmons also in my little trip.
Yeah, and he talked about AI and some other stuff. And my parents also
did he sell it?
Pretty well? Dude, I remember it was so embarrassing. He was talking about Ferdinand Magellan. Okay.
I don't remember that much.
No, I remember this very clearly because my little history here is perked up, and I was like, "Oh, I know all about Ferdinand Magellan." And then, oh my god, it's so embarrassing. He was saying something about his like third voyage or something, and I said something.
Oh,
but I didn't actually know what I was talking about. So I was like, "Oh, never mind." The whole room was looking at me.
Did he call on you?
No, I just spoke up.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it was horrible. Yeah, it was terrible. It was a very simple question. Also, it was like,
What was his third voyage?
It was no, it was like
Oh, it was
like
if
an AI question.
If
Yeah,
Ferdinand Magellan went around the world once and then died on his second trip, then where did he go on his third trip? It was something like that.
yeah.
Yeah,
What?
and it was just trying to see if the AI could recognize that he wouldn't have had a third trip because he died on his second trip.
He was explaining like what AI is and like some of the
Oh.
challenges. And so like questions like that are very difficult to answer for somebody that doesn't have common sense. Yeah.
Mm.
Oh my god, it's so embarrassing. I'll never forget that.
Oh, so good. Yeah. But yeah, that day sold me on CMU pretty much.
Wow.
Like after that, I'd visited like other schools that were also good, but I just didn't like the vibes, or like I didn't think they were as good as CMU. And then here we are at CMU.
Wait. All right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna throw some schools under the bus here. What schools did you think have bad vibes?
Okay, so Cornell was kind of a big one. I didn't like Cornell very much. It was just like this big open space in the middle of nowhere, and there's like no life. I mean, not like CMU had very much life either. But their CS program and the CS departments looked kind of lame in comparison to CMU's CS was like amazing. MIT's CS was also good. Like that one is also
but it's alright, you know.
Yeah, they're like alright. Number 2, you know.
The number 2 3-letter school.
Yeah. And then there was actually another program. So I remember when I said I got into the Yale thing, and I went and visited the campus. It was like for an overnight stay, and we went to talk to some professors and stuff. It was me and a bunch of other students who had also gotten into the program. And I distinctly remember they put us into this like big, so they really tried to wow us, right? Like these big fancy old Yale buildings and this really fancy food. It's very much like very like rich type Ivy League-esque. But I remember distinctly this dinner that we went to where they paired us up with professors of our field of interest. So I was in a small group with a CS professor and a bunch of other students. And I remember the CS professor asked all these other people, like, what other schools did you get into? Since this was actually after a bunch of decisions had already come out.
Why would he ask that?
Just like, I don't actually know. And she was, she like tried to talk about the Yale CS program and how it was pretty decent. But then when some of the students brought up like, oh, I got into CMU, I got into MIT, I got into Berkeley, Stanford, then she was just like, kind of just whispered at us like, go there. So she was on our side, not on her school side, but it was good. It was a good experience. Actually, I went to the dorms and it was kind of like they had a regular student there that was just hosting me for the time being. And I didn't like the vibe of it very much either, because it was very much like this little apartment where you get like 5 people staying. I mean, I guess it's not that small. It's larger than the Hammerschlag rooms. But it's like
Can
a
you
very...
imagine 5 people in the Hammerschlag rooms?
No. It's like
well,
3
that did
Hammerschlag
happen,
rooms
just not
separated.
5 people living.
Right. Yeah. But like, I don't know, the place didn't really click too much, and I didn't really have a super great time with the current students that were there, my mentor included. And
that makes sense, like the vibe.
Yeah, I didn't like it too much, but
so did you for CMU do an overnight visit too?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
just that one day. It's like a little program, right? Like they just show you around campus.
Yeah. Okay.
Give you a little prep around what these classes are, and that one day was just like enough. It's crazy.
Yeah, that April 1st.
Yeah.
Wait, Elan, you said you did like a visit also. Did you stay overnight or was it just a visit?
No, it was just whatever Gus did. Same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think decisions come out the 30th of.
It was
Yeah,
the 28th of March.
I knew it was
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's one of
It's
the
late.
latest ones. It was the latest
Yeah.
one I got.
It was the last one I got.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I was
Yeah.
about to like, I was pretty set on going to some other school, and then that just came out, and I was like, time to rethink.
Yeah, I remember. See, I got rejected from most everywhere I applied. No surprise, right? I'm yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned April 1st because my friends thought it was an April Fool's joke when I told them that I got into CMU.
Yeah.
That hurt a little bit, but I mean, yeah, it was March 27th. I got my first real acceptance.
Mhm.
It was to UMich.
Mhm.
And so I was like, oh, sweet, I get to go to college, yeah. And then the next morning, we went to go get breakfast to celebrate. We only get breakfast on special occasions,
Mhm.
And so we went out to go get breakfast. And then I came back. My dad was like, "So when does CMU come out with this?" Or he asked me, "Do you have any other decisions coming out?" And I was like, "Yeah, there's one. Probably not gonna. There's no way."
Yeah. But things just work out.
And so then I was like, "Yeah, I'll go check." And then lo and behold, April Fools.
My friends, they didn't know anything about CMU except the previous valedictorian went to CMU. Like they didn't even
That's
know
crazy.
the school.
My previous valedictorian also went to CMU.
Well, that's insane.
You know what's crazy? Wait, have you ever talked to that person?
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
him one time. I was like, "Hey, I know you," and he was like, "Oh yeah."
Did he know you?
I was like, "Yeah, you're his name, right?" And he's like, "Yep."
Yup.
And then I told him, I'm Elan," and he was like, "Cool," and I just walked away.
Yeah, I've never talked to my person at CMU. I've seen them one time in passing, like through we passed each other in the hallway. She's also a TA for one of my classes right now, but I haven't had her on office hours or anything, so I don't know what it's gonna be like if I ever do get in her office hours. It's just like, yo, because we indirectly talked. We were in like the same group conversation like one time in high school, and I had close friends that were friends with her or like worked with her in clubs a lot. But I never like talked to her, so I don't know if she'd actually even recognize me.
Oh, were these valedictorians of like the previous year, or were they like a couple years ago?
Yes.
Okay.
No, this
Mine
is
was
last
just
year.
1 year ago. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Let's see.
Yeah, and that was the
He's a
only
junior.
reason why people at my school even knew, I think, what CMU was. Like most people, no, like even me included, dude. I didn't really know much about CMU at all. And that's like
that's weird. Before senior year, I had never even heard of CMU.
Yeah.
No. The
I had
only thing
never
I'd
heard
heard
of
of
the
with
college.
Carnegie was Carnegie Hall, like the music one. And I
Yeah,
was like,
same.
and
Yeah.
I remember that's what I thought when I heard, like the year before I did all the college apps, and I heard that our valedictorian is going to CMU. I was like, she gonna do music? I didn't know it was like a different kind of school.
Yeah.
We're really showcasing our CMU pride.
Yeah.
That's so
Totally love CMU. Woo, yeah.
cool.
Yeah, to our listeners who aren't super flex lords like Gus here, our guest, don't worry, I'm with you. I got rejected from all but 3 of the colleges I applied to. So, and I applied to like 15 colleges. All right,
Yeah.
and one of the ones I got into was a safety school. So really, I only got into 2 schools.
Yeah, it's around the same for me. I got into a little more. I actually can't remember. It was like 4 or 5, and like 2 of them were safeties. So around the same similar story, but this dude.
Yeah, it was the last 2 decisions I got. Yeah, I had spent almost 4 months thinking that I'm an absolute failure.
Oh no. Oh no.
It was not until the very last two decisions that I got into a college. It was March 27th and 28th, 2019.
It's okay. It all worked out in the end.
Yeah, and here I am
doing a
every
podcast.
Every day I think, yeah, I understand why I got rejected from everywhere.
All right. So we're gonna wrap up the show, but there's like two things I want to ask first. The first thing is related with this college stuff. With FERPA, students have the right to see their admissions file and see what the people that admitted them said about them for the school that you go to. And I looked it up. You can do this with CMU too.
Really?
Would you ever want to do that?
Yes.
I do.
I want to see.
How about you guys?
What did they see in me that nobody else saw? I want to know.
What about you guys?
Yeah, I'd probably do it, but I'm not really in a particular rush.
Yeah, I'm not in a.
Is it like a big hassle to do it? Like you have to.
I don't think so. I can't find the link on this official CMU. I forgot where I read this, but I did look it up like before this, a year ago or something. I was just curious if you could do it, and you could do it like at every school. But for CMU specifically, I remember I think I think at all schools in general, what you do is send like a FERPA request to the university, kind of just saying this. I'm not actually even sure for CMU who you send this request to, but I know in the process of actually seeing your admissions file, you can't like take pictures or anything. So if you actually want to remember, you have to like bring pen and paper and like write notes about what they wrote.
Interesting.
You can't take pictures, but you get like a couple of minutes inside, just like you alone. You get a look. I think I was interested because I saw on YouTube like people did videos about it. It's like what they were trying to share like how they got into these like prestigious schools, right? And then they actually looked at their admissions files and what the admissions committee said. So that is something that I want to do also, though I don't know when. Sometime back on campus. Do you feel any nervousness seeing that? Like maybe they were like, this guy's kind of like one dude's just like, this guy's kind of fishy.
Yeah, maybe.
Any trepidation?
I'm sure there was some. I don't know. I mean, after getting rejected from so many places, I'm sure that that I was like a rich student. Like they take a chance on some of the students. Probably. I don't know. That's not even a joke. I'm pretty sure that's like what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a bad thing. Yeah, because sometimes you got to take a chance. So I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, and that comes to the last thing that I want to say, which was more relevant to now. Elan, you said you got your COVID vaccine
Yes,
for
sir.
the first time.
I am half vaccinated.
Which one was it?
It was the Pfizer, the good one.
The good one. Isn't the Moderna one good also?
The Pfizer, what is it? The efficacy rate is a bit better. I think
it's like
95 compared to 90 or 94 or something. Yeah. I mean, if you're out there, get whatever vaccine you can get.
Right.
Every vaccine that somebody gets is one step closer to herd immunity, and that's the real goal. All right. All the vaccines that have been approved for emergency use authorization are all good. You should take them. All right. I'm just joking when I say that the Pfizer is the good one. Well, it is a little bit better.
Wise words. Where'd you go to get your shot?
I went to a Rite Aid. I just, as soon as it opened up to everyone, I went and I Googled Rite Aid COVID appointments, and I picked the first one that I could find.
Was there a line, or like how complex was the setup, or is it just like a?
Yeah, you like walked in. They gave you some papers like a form to fill out, and then you stood in line to get vaccinated. I waited like maybe 10 minutes.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I just walked out. There was only like 5 people in line.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah. Walked up, got my vaccine.
Yeah.
And then they were like, "Yep, you're good to go." You can wait around if you want to. You know. You really
Oh wait,
have
you
to.
didn't even have to stay for like an observing period?
No, they didn't even tell me. I asked her. I was like, so should I like wait here? She was like, yeah, if you want to.
What
It's
the
maybe a good
hell?
idea. In case you like get some severe allergic reaction and you have to call a hospital or something. But
Yeah, okay. That's like
um,
pretty different than from what I had to go through.
yeah. No, it was just like getting a flu vaccine. You know, you go up
Mm,
there, except it was a bit more organized because there were more people.
yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
nice. And Gus, when do you know when you'll get your first shot?
I actually
did
got my
this
Oh,
first
you
morning.
shot
did.
today this morning as
Yes.
well. Yeah.
Oh yeah, this
Uh,
morning. Yeah, how could I forget? And how was that? How was that process?
that was pretty good. It was a little larger than it sounds like. We went to a Sutter Health thing. So it was like a big like building complex. And there was a large line. There were hundreds of people there, but the line went pretty quickly. And like
Okay.
everyone had like, double masks and obeyed the 6 foot rule. But they just were like really organized and just kept speeding people through. I went. It was actually in Pittsburgh, CA, or close to Pittsburgh, CA. It was in Antioch, uh, and we went. This is like an hour away from where we live, so and that was actually the closest appointment that we could find. Um, so it was actually me and my parents that went, and we all got the shot just right there, and then. But for the most part, it was very seamless. You just walk in, present your paperwork, like just your appointment. They didn't ask for ID or anything. You just go and then they just give it to you. But they did make us wait like 15 minutes afterwards.
Wow. Wait,
Mm.
I feel like
Yeah.
my appointment experience is so different. We had like a whole process of we had to give ID and medical insurance and like
Yeah, I have to get my insurance and ID
okay,
also.
Oh, really? Yeah. No, they didn't ask for that. We brought ours, but they didn't ask.
I have to get
interesting.
my social security number also.
Oh, I didn't have to do that, but we did have like some Coast Guard lady who's just like uh I don't think it was because like it could have been anybody, but we did have to give like ID and then medical insurance and had to show like our appointment and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
it
I
was
have to give
different.
my doctor's name, like my primary health
Wow.
provider.
Jeez.
Wow,
Yeah.
nice. I had two quick questions for Gus. You said wait, did your brother get a shot also, or did he not?
Oh, no, he's younger than 16, so he's not eligible.
Okay,
Rip.
he's already
Yeah.
got that young kid immunity. It's all
Sure,
good.
sure.
And
And
the
he just
second
stays at home all day, so.
and the second question was you said like people were double masking. Were you double masking?
Yeah, that's like a common thing we do here.
Really? Oh.
Really? I only single mask.
Yeah, I only single mask too, and I think I only see people do single masks
Like
also.
what I see people do a lot here is you get like the surgical mask underneath, and then you get like a fancy mask, like a fashion mask put on top.
Oh.
Wow.
And that counts as a double mask. Um, but yeah, that was the thing. They just like recommended it.
Yeah, I know
Mandated.
they recommended it. I just never thought people actually do it because
Hmm.
sounds kind
That's a
of
lot of work. Yeah.
sounds a
It
little
sounds kind of
silly also.
conflicting. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, if that's the official advice, then I think we should listen to the science. If you're out there listening, we're not saying to disobey any administrative mandates
Yeah,
that you might have in your region. Yeah, just putting that out there.
that's true.
Quick.
Good disclaimer. All right, and I think that's gonna wrap up our episode. Thanks, Gus, for
Yeah.
coming on.
Thanks for coming around. Yeah.
No problem. It was lots of fun.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. There's a lot of new stuff that I learned about you also, which is
Yeah.
pretty awesome. Like that's kind of what I want to get out of this. So
Just talk for a while, and then you just learn things. It's
yeah,
great.
awesome.
Okay, that's good.
So that was 3B podcast episode 6 with Gus. Stick around, everybody. We'll have future
Wait,
guests.
nobody's gonna watch it. I mean, it's only Gus that watches our podcast.
One day. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. One day. Imagine,
Okay, well,
like
anyway,
we
if
might
you're
get
watching this,
listeners. Yeah. If you're interested, again, leave a comment. We might have you on.
yeah, Smash that subscribe button.
Yes, we do have I made a new channel, so the stuff on YouTube is no longer unlisted. It's on its own separate 3B podcast channel. Everything's public now, so feel free to share the videos. We're still on Spotify. Give us a follow on Spotify. We try to have a new episode every week. Still trying to stick to that, so be sure to follow us on both platforms. Stay tuned, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
See ya.